What does it take to transform a district? That's the question I have for you today. Welcome to Transforming Lives podcast. I'm your host, Tony Kimball. My guest today on 50 Educators from 50 States. This series has been going on for for the last 3 months, and I'm excited on the track that it's taking. My next guest is no stranger to transformation. When we think about transformation, it's all about how do I start at a particular point and then move, whether that's a group of people, whoever, how do I move people forward? My next guest is going to help me out with that. My next guest is Dr. Zandra Galván. I'm excited about what she's going to bring to the table, what she's going to share with us. I have some questions, and I'm just excited to hear about what she's doing in schools, what she is pushing for in her current position right now. I'm excited that she's here. I'm excited of what she shares. Listen, I follow her on social media, and I'm just excited in everything that I'm seeing. And yeah, I'm excited. You get yourself ready to go. But before I do that, hopefully you're able to hear what's about to be said. All right. So I'm hoping that you're able to see that. I would like to welcome my Latino community on as well. And we want to make sure that we just enjoy tonight. All right. So let's sit back. Let's get this thing going.
Transforming lives. Inspiring stories from educators worldwide. Impact happening worldwide. Your transformation starts here.
All right, guys, your transformation starts here, but I have a transformer that I'm about to bring up, just a dynamic person. And I'm excited about the questions that we're going to go through, but it's just a conversation. This conversation leads to transformation. And when we talk about all students, what do we mean? We're going to find that out. When we talk about leadership, what are we talking about? That's the conversation we're about to have right now. So get yourself ready. I'd like to welcome to the stage my next guest, Dr. Zandra Galván. Did I get that right? Did I get okay? I was close.
You got it right.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Fantástico.
Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome to Transforming Lives. I appreciate you joining us. I know you have a busy schedule, but thank you for taking the time out to join this crusade. I'm going to call it a crusade to reach the different educators across this nation.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tony, for allowing me to share this space with you and to, hopefully share some things with your listeners that will help support them in the work that they're doing.
Absolutely. I know that you are. Let me see. I'm going to zoom us in and see how that works right there. That's perfect. Quality. Oh, I'm sorry. That's kind of off cue, but that's quality video, like excelente. So
get rid of some of those wrinkles.
No. So, I usually start out by asking this question: how is the weather in California?
Oh, well, usually beautiful, and today is no different. We have the sun is shining on this, central coast where I'm at in Monterey County, so it is very sunny and beautiful.
Absolutely. I visited California a couple of times, and I guess I visited LA. So yeah, the weather was awesome there as well. So again, I want to kind of jump into our questions and be a good steward of your time. So let's jump in. Like, could you share like the pivotal moment in your career that led you to pursue a leadership role in education? I'm all ears on this one.
Absolutely. And what it's going to do is going to take me down to a 10-year-old in a 5th grade class. And so I will tell you that I was a 5th grader, 10 years old, when my big sister got a teaching job. And she is the oldest. I am the youngest.
All right.
So she got a teaching job, teaching kindergarten on the same campus that I was in 5th grade. And so the pivotal moment was when she became a teacher and I knew she was on the same campus, and I was able to walk down to her classroom during my lunchtime and hang out with 5-year-olds. And she asked me to read them stories, and I fell in love with teaching and being a leader in a capacity to be able to inspire kids. And when kids, love an adult, as you know,
Yeah.
they will do almost anything for you and just love and champion the work that we're doing and what we're all about. And they're a good read of character. So my sister, fortunate, she's an amazing role model for me. I matched a lot of what she was doing. And so, yeah, that was when I was 10 years old. I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And the unique thing about talking to educators across this nation, I'm learning how to kind of piece these stories together. I had another guest on talk about it was something that happened early on. So it goes back to this whole idea that our impact as educators, it's generational.
Mhm.
But God, at 10 years old,
Yeah.
I applaud you. Now, at 10 years old, I'm not sure if I was
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll even take it just a little step forward. When I was in 7th grade on the exact same campus, I was in a science class, and my science teacher did something one day, and I was always a smart cookie and baby of 6, right? So, we have a little extra personality when we're roaming around the earth. And so he said something that I wasn't very appreciative of. And I looked at my 7th grade science teacher and I said, "Who's your boss?" And he said, "The principal." I said, "Okay. Who higher than that? Who's the principal's boss?" And he says, "Well, that's the superintendent." I said, "No, higher." Because I didn't know what a superintendent was. I said, "Higher." He's like, "No, that's about it." And then, you got board of elected officials. I said, "Okay, well, I'll be back one day and I'm gonna be your superintendent. I'm gonna be your boss." And sure enough, like, this is 7th grade. I'm 12 years old, and I've already got a little fire in me, a little spunk. And I'm like, "I'll be back." He retired 2 years before I went back to that same district and became superintendent. I was there until just months ago.
Right. Yeah.
And he was like, "Whoa, you suck." He said, he goes, he was like, "Haha, you weren't my boss. You do that." I said, "But had you been here." And the one thing, before I left that district, he knew I'd accepted another position in a larger school district. He came back, and I walked him through all of the classrooms. In the classroom where I, made that statement when I was a 7th grader, he got to see the building and walk around and see it. So it was definitely transformative for him, and very nostalgic too. But yeah. So
wow, that's a story, right? Oh man, that just seems like retirement time. That was close.
I know. So can you imagine, man? I'm that kid, and now I'm an adult in the seat, impacting other kids. Like, yeah, you follow your dreams. Whatever you want to do, you plant the seed, share it, say it, put it in the universe, so then it can be. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's powerful to hear that. So kind of moving forward a little bit, I saw the statement, "All means all." And now, really, now I get it. I get it now. So could you, can you share just, how did you take that statement, "all means all" vision, into a reality for students and staff in your district?
Sure. And I think what a lot of us do is we carry a lived experience, right? And so we know how we went through school and whether we were given opportunities or we weren't. Mm-hmm. And so we take those and we carry them with us, good or bad, and we use them in the next level of our life, whatever that position might be, to create change, and to transform experiences that we've lived into positivity, right? So I will share kind of a statement for me and where I grew up, and as I went into college and university, and so how I wanted to really shift that narrative. So for me, I was a superintendent in the school district that I grew up in. So where I went to kindergarten through 8th grade was the district that I led for many years. And in that experience, I am a proud brown girl. I am Latina, Mexican-American descent, born here in actually the city of Salinas, where now I'm superintendent. Yes. But in my lived experience, I saw things. Kids see things that we can't hide things from them. They see that. So at an early age, there was a lot of laws that were going into place where you couldn't speak Spanish, or if you came to the country and you were, not able to speak the English language, but you were learning all about that. That was really important. And so for me, I saw, some of my best friends coming in and not being able to have the same opportunities that I had due to the color of my skin. So I was a Latina, but because I was lighter skinned, I passed for mainstream. And so I was asked to be in the gate classes. I was asked to go on trips. I was asked to do all these other things that were awesome.
Right.
But not my counterparts, or not everyone was able to do that. And I don't think that a school system should ever predetermine the success of a child or prevent them from opportunities that would put them on a trajectory to be whatever they want to be. Right.
Mhm.
And so when I noticed that, I held on to that information and I said, okay, I'm going to file that into my file cabinet in my brain. And I'll say, okay, one day I need to change that.
Yes.
Fast forward into when I went to high school, same thing. When I went to high school, I learned afterwards that many of my friends were being taken on college visits to the university and being counseled by their counselors on really great aspirational types of possibilities, where
Right.
I was not. Granted, I was a triple athlete. I was involved in the Associated Student Body. I was president of my school, yet I wasn't asked to go on these trips by my counselors, who I don't even remember ever meeting with.
Mm.
So, okay,
Yeah.
file that right here. And remember that that's something that happened that was not in the best interest of all students. So the reason I shared those couple stories is because now that I am in a position to influence the decisions that are made and influence the people that are hired into the positions of power that could be gatekeepers if the opportunity, might have steered in that direction,
Right.
was now open to all students. So the mission and vision of All Means All and serving the students that are in our classrooms today is very, very personal for me and important to me, because I never want anyone to make decisions for a student that would prevent them from getting to next level. So how that was transformed is every single student, every single year, is taken on a trip to a college or a career institution so that they may open up their possibilities and their dreams. The other thing is making sure that all means all. It means that whatever we offer at one school, we are going to do our best to offer it at another school. So that by design, the organizations that I lead are going to be able to expose all students, not just one particular type of student,
Yes.
to all potential opportunities that they might explore in endgame post-secondary world. So that's kind of where the all means all statement comes from.
Oh, so okay. So right now I'm listening, but I'm connecting all these dots right now as we're having a conversation. That's powerful. And I thank you for sharing that, because it's all about exposure. I had a guest on that talked about making sure that their students had exposure, and that exposure impacts how they see themselves. So
Absolutely.
to hear your experience and then to be in the position right now to definitely influence that, that's that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just also within that, like, I live life through my experience, good, bad, or indifferent. I've had experience. My family has had experiences that impact the decisions and the person that is showing up for you every day.
Right.
And so with that, I carry that. But I am so open to learning about others' experiences so that they can then inform me to be a better leader. And I use that through conversations with parents. I use the information that I have engaging with team members that are on our staff that, prior to me, how did things go? Tell me where we did you wrong and what we can do to make that better. Again, I'm not even in this position for 100 days in my new district. And so within that time, it's so important, just like a, dissertation and a researcher, we need to know what people have endured, what they love about the organization that we're leading, and what they are really, hurt by. Right. And that, man, this, if we would only do this, it would be better. And in that journey, I've talked to hundreds of students that I now serve. And my current district is from 7th grade to adults. Right. So these are big kids with ideas and opinions about things that matter to them. And I love that about being a superintendent of a secondary district, because middle school and high schoolers, they will tell you what they think you should know. And so I am so fortunate and proud of that. They're not only brilliant and beautiful people, right. They're bold and they're brave. They will send me emails, like almost, I can check my email every day and I'll have some kind of a message from a student that I've connected with and had a conversation with, because I will pause. Like, I'm not just going to walk by people and just, say hello and not. I stop and I say, tell me, what's your favorite subject? What do you do? How did you get here? Like, tell me about your family. Like, what do you love? If we could change one thing about our school, what would you change? Like, what is it about this that you want to be emboldened to be able to make those decisions? And they do. And then they email me and they follow up and they said, Dr. Galván, I was really empowered by the conversation we have. Can you come back? And I need you to talk to my leadership class. Or I need you to talk to my second period class. Like, things like that make a difference.
Right, absolutely.
Make a difference. And as we grow and we mature in life, whether it was my 20-year-old self, my 30-year-old, my 40-year, I'm going to be 54, I think it is, next month. All of those times in our life have made us a better version of ourselves. Correct. And how I live my life today versus how I lived it as my 20-year-old self is much different. Right. Like, I am very judicious about who I give my time to and who I listen to. And I make sure I'm not about anyone that's going to drain the life out of me. I'm all about how do I make sure that I support you and give my full self to you in this conversation. And the thing and why I do that is because we do not know our expiration date. I don't know it. Correct. So if today's my last day on this earth, I better have given and lived my life to its fullest and given my time to those who I love and who I know can support what we're doing and make sure that our children that are served to the greatest ability of ourselves. And so when you live life through that lens, it's a lot easier to be a leader and to listen to those who you need to listen to.
This is powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen. So, as I said earlier, one of the things is, with imagination, you have infinite possibilities. When you're on social media and you're looking at these different posts, and later we're going to get into this, but I just need to bring this up right now of the connection that I'm seeing of having workshops for parents, highlighting, pictures where students have accepted college, accepted into colleges. So it's like seeing this and making this connection of the leader, and you understand, even though it's been since October, I think October. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like seeing that and hear your drive right here is such a powerful experience right now. Talking about social media, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about how, using technology, how it drives, equity and inclusiveness. And, what advice would you give other districts? There, what's happening, what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing other people that are paying attention to what's going on with these 50 educators from 50 states. I'm seeing it. Mm-hmm. So what I would like to happen is they can hear this conversation that you're about to have on, what advice would you give to those districts?
Yeah. So my advice would be, what's the right thing to do? And so always thinking about, if my students need me in this school district and they need to have a conversation or they're concerned about something, what's the right thing to do? Mm-hmm. Like, what would we do? Would we turn away from that conversation? Would we enter it and engage through a lens of seeking to understand, through the lens of empathy? Because people will be fearful of things that they are uncertain of, or they will be fearful of things that they do not know much about. And so for me, my advice is to be the leader that our students deserve to have. And for me, that means being present. No matter what the climate is in our nation, being present and celebrating the sweetness of all of our school campuses and celebrating the diversity of the students that we get to serve, no matter what their background is, yes. And to really highlighting them in the grandest of ways and celebrating when they're getting into colleges and universities and celebrating when they, pass that certification to become a firefighter, all those things that matter, so that what we do is we stay within our sphere of influence and what we can control, so that all the outside noise and all of the things that are outside of my control, I'm aware of them, but I cannot make them go away, nor can I change them. But what I can control is the narrative and the engagement and what we highlight on a daily in each one of our schools. And that's what inspires and holds those students to wanting to engage and wanting to tell their story furthermore. So I think that if we can stay in the realm of What are schools designed to do?
Yes.
What is our vision and our mission about? Is it about celebrating every child that comes into our schools? Absolutely. Is it about matching them with their hopes and dreams? Yes. Is it about making sure that the programs that we offer are going to make a change and provide something that our students need to be able to make the most informed choices about which career they want to enter or what college or university they want to attend? Absolutely.
Yes.
And if you live through that lens, and my advice would be to stay there and keep celebrating kids for the greatness that they bring and engaging their families in the same manner. Our families trust us to educate their children and to make the best decisions to support their child's post-secondary success. So I think my advice is to stay and live in that lane. It is easy to get tied up and caught up in, some kind of political, connectation or whatever is happening in the grand world, but be aware of all that, but stay true to what you can control within your sphere of influence.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That is, when you think about what can you have an impact on, I think that's powerful as a leader to not just, it's good for the leader to think like that, but how do you guide everyone else to that particular mindset? So that's powerful. So we want to kind of move to culture. I can hear it. I've heard it in the questions, like, how do you cultivate a culture where every team member feels empowered? I feel like you've answered this question. We're going to try to, in terms of breaking the cycle of poverty for students.
Yeah.
So could you share that with us, please?
Absolutely. So a call to action, right? If there's a call to action of anything, is as building leaders, as classroom leaders, as, district leaders, really being in tune with your data. What does your data say? And if your data says that 91% of your students, which is what my data says, come from a home in poverty, then that's a big deal. And what I know about the cycle of poverty and what, we want our listeners to understand is that breaking free from the cycle of poverty is going to require education. It's going to require some skills so that when students leave our school districts and enter as adults beyond the post-secondary world, that they have opportunities to break free from the cycle of poverty. Because here's what we know about the cycle of poverty. And I lead with a slide whenever I can with meetings with the community or with my school board of trustees or with teachers and administrators throughout our district. The one thing that we know is if a child grows up in poverty, they are going to be at a deficit because they will not have the same means in home with the books and the availability of tutors and the availability of programming because there's not enough money to do that. Right. So if that happens, they're going to go through school at a disadvantage from others that might not be in the poverty cycle. So if that happens, they're going to struggle to find a job when they leave us. So this is also an economic, problem in our nation. If they are not educated and they can't find a good job, then the economy is going to suffer. Right. Furthermore, if you are at an economic downfall and you struggle to find a job, then what's going to also happen is you're going to marry someone that is also in your same economic situation. And then you're going to have children that are born into poverty. And so it's a never-ending cycle that will never end, and it will perpetuate until we do something about it as leaders to break students free from the cycle of poverty. So that's what I lead with when I lead this district that I'm in and the district that I was in before. Same thing, over 90%. And so what we do with that is we provide programs, opportunities, the courses, the support within our school entity to make sure that our kids are educated, that they have opportunities to graduate. 4 areas. They will be able to become into the college or university pathway because they have adequately been prepared through all the right courses that'll allow them to apply and get accepted into colleges and universities. Number 2, we will build them out with some career technical education pathways. We have phenomenal pathways here in school districts, mine and others, that will automatically, if you want to be a firefighter, if you want to enter the medical careers, if you want to become a nurse, we'll get you on that pathway. Mechanics, welders, all of those high paying, job market trend jobs will help you in that direction as well. The other one is enlisting. Maybe you don't have the means to go to college or career and you're not aware of the, financial supports that we have. So maybe you want to enlist in our wonderful armed forces to be able to defend our country. That's another opportunity. And then the 4th one I would say is entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Are we training up our kids to become a business owner right when they get out? There are such talented students within all of our communities. Mine is no different. We have such talent. If we showed you how to become your own entrepreneur and start a business, then you'll be contributing to this wonderful economy and breaking yourself free from the cycle of poverty. So it is grander than very simplistic notions. It is about really end game, especially for me, because I am a secondary district. If I don't do something about the opportunities and the means for our students to be able to go out into the world and make a great living, then I've not done my job, nor has my school district supported our students to obtain that post-secondary success. So when I talk about the cycle of poverty, that's what I'm referencing.
Oh, you laid it out well.
I can send you the graphic too. It's pretty awesome.
Right. So I mean, I'm being very serious. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we can talk afterwards because you had those you addressed those points within the cycle, and I think you can talk about. Well, let's break poverty. We want to break people out of poverty, but if you can't analyze that data, it's a problem because, okay, we want to go do it. We want to go win the game, but if we don't have a plan to get, so planning and I can feel the passion in your voice when you talk about this and not giving a student just one way to break poverty. You have multiple ways, and let us help you through that process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I will add, college and university was always, and it will continue to be something that people elevate, right? If you are not getting into college or a four-year university, you're a failure, is a lot of what people think. Mm-hmm. And that we need to change that narrative. We need to change that narrative because careers are amazing and the career technical education pathways are amazing, and it matches students. Because while I loved college and university, and I still, finished a university and got another degree just in this year, that is not necessarily what I want to impose on everyone.
Right.
Do I want you to be fully prepared to take that avenue if the opportunity presents itself? Absolutely.
Right.
I want to make sure that we have equipped you with options.
Yeah.
But I also know that going to a university and school is maybe not for everyone. And I have to be realistic about options. Yeah. So that's why all these different pathways is what we need to provide for those that we serve, so that they are then entering into a profession that they also love. If I didn't love being a superintendent or love being a teacher, I wouldn't be able to say with passion what I'm sharing with you here today. So I want everyone who leaves my school district to feel this way about whatever they're doing, so that it's within your heart and you're matched and equipped with the skills that you have developed, and your desires and what you love is then matched with that career that you've chosen to the same degree.
Absolutely. No, this is great. This is exactly what 50 educators from 50 states, the goal of it is having a transformational conversation with leaders and finding out, because many times when maybe you're in a school or a school district, you may get wrapped up in the day-to-day nuances, and you need this type of conversation to say, you know what, I may have this a couple of students over here that are just not sure, and maybe they need not just identity in who they are, but they need, what am I going to do when I leave this place? And that's something that many students struggle with, because maybe their parents, even for me, although my mom and dad were wonderful, they worked really hard. Me going to college was a different direction, and they highly encouraged that. Although for my dad, he didn't necessarily go, but he was, he made sure everything was taken care of. My mom later went to school and graduated from college, but it's giving people options.
Yeah.
You're able to break that cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Two things I want to just add to what you shared is, number one, figuring out what you want to do with your life is scary. It's scary.
Right.
Because I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
And I don't know. And there are assumptions that people may make in mainstream that then becomes a child's or a student's reality. For example, going to a university costs a lot of money, and I cannot put that hardship on my family.
Right.
Because if I do, it's the decision between my siblings having food or me getting a degree.
Yep.
And so many students will say, no, I can't do it. I can't put that hardship on my family. However, what they're unaware of is the number of scholarships that are available, the number of that they can qualify for that can get a full ride scholarship to wherever they want to go. I am very fortunate. If your listeners haven't heard of, or you haven't heard of the Quest Bridge scholarships. Quest Bridge, if anyone wants to Google that, is an amazing opportunity for students across this great nation to have a full ride scholarship and be matched with an Ivy League school at no cost to them or their family. It is an application process. They go through this with, like their team leaders, their teachers, their counselors can help them. In my district alone, we had over 12, I think it was 12 students that qualified. They have been matched with Princeton. They have been matched with Yale. They have been matched with Emory in Georgia. They've been matched with Stanford University.
Wow. Yeah.
These kids don't have to worry about how they're going to pay for it. It's a full ride that they qualified for. But people don't know about that unless you have team leaders or adults on your campuses that are fully aware of that.
Right.
I had the counselor from University of California, Santa Cruz come to my office last week, and she wanted to meet me because I was, new to the area, and her college is not more than an hour away from us.
Right.
She said, I want you to know about something. I said, tell me, what do you want me to know? She goes, I have a donor, a millionaire, a billionaire, I think he was, that donated millions to my university to every year select 40 students who have applied to UC Santa Cruz to have a full ride scholarship. I said, oh my gosh, Chancellor, that information needs to get in the hands and the ears of the people in my community, because it's only an hour away. If students wanted to go live there and have a full ride, absolutely, to pick whatever occupation you want to do.
Right.
Then a family would say, go, yes, do it, apply, because you're going to be taken care of. And so things like that, yes, it's scary, but number two, knowledge is power. If you live on the assumptions that you can't go to the university because you're not going to be able to afford it, we need to do a better job as educators to inform them of affordability and these scholarships that are out there. And then I want to circle back. So that was the one point, but I wanted to also circle back to the point of, yes, college and university is amazing, and we want kids to, be able to enter if they so choose, but not to forsake any of the other enlisting enpreneurship and careers that they can enter right away. Because when we build awareness around the possibilities and a livable wage and living above that wage and matching us with industry partners that can do that. And I haven't even been in this district over 100 days yet. I've only been in this about day 70 for me as the new superintendent of this district, but I'm already engaging with industry partners in San Francisco and San Jose, because it's not far from here, industry partners to take my students on trips to see, would you want to be an engineer? Would you like to enter the marketing world? Would you like to work for Cisco that, designs all of this electrical and engineering that are a multi-billion, millionaire company, to work there? And let me show you how you can do that. And introducing them to the engineers and the electricians and the architects that are already working there. So that's game changing. That when we are able to do that, then students start seeing the possibilities of reality.
Right. No, that's good. I want to pause a second. I'm a tech guy, and if you brought up Quest Bridge, I want to make sure I have it right.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here. Let me see if I am sharing. I am sharing it. Okay.
Hey.
Make sure this is correct.
That's it.
Okay. Well, perfect.
Yeah.
Right here. If you are looking at this as a replay, I'll make sure I have this in the YouTube description or whatever platform you're viewing this on. So this is your opportunity. So want to show that. So being a little innovative.
Awesome. Great job. And I want to call out, my counselors in the Salinas Union High School District are amazing. They are the ones that make this happen. But I do want to give a shout out to 2 individual teachers that brought this to my attention, because they had the most students qualify. They had 5 qualify for this scholarship. And across the nation, they probably only have like 2,000 that they're awarding. But 12 were from my district and 5 came from one school here on the West Coast. And so two people that I want to call out is Mr. Dana Henry, who's an amazing leader who loves on, making sure that her kids have that application, and she is sharp as a tack when it comes to the application process, and Mr. Williams, who's her counterpart over there. And so many people, but I do want to name out a couple individuals who shared with me about it and the work that they do behind it. And so powerful people, powerful teachers, counselors that make these kinds of dreams come true for kids.
Oh, awesome. That's powerful. And it's, again, you try to be you try to interview your guests, but then your mind is kind of just wrapping into what's being said, and the direction, like exposure is just powerful. Yeah, this is good. This is awesome. So I can't say this is, the main question I wanted to get to, because all of them have been so awesome. I've just watched how you're using social media to celebrate successes, engage with the community and build a stronger relationship. Can you kind of share this with the viewers? Because pretty much now, until I don't know, maybe my eyes will be closed. I think social media will still be going on.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is an important part of a school leader. So could you share how you're using that in your school district?
Yeah. So social media as a platform. And so I would say it's all about branding. And so we have a professional brand and we have a personal brand. Right. So if any of our listeners were to Google anyone, if you Googled me, you would see what I hold close to my heart what I post. And that is a story about your leader and what you believe in. And so how you use it for good is to amplify the voices of those we get to serve and what is important to us. So as the leader of the Salinas Union High School District, a few things that I hold true to my heart that you would immediately be able to tell from my social media is I love people and I love kids and I love celebrating people and kids every single day. Right. So that's one of the things that I hold true to my heart. Just this morning, I was over at a parent meeting at one of my high schools, and I was celebrating the conversations we were having and the people that showed up for their kids as high school parents. Yesterday, I was over at another school in my school district, Alisal High School, and I was over there talking to parents and students about what they love about their school and how they want to amplify that. I was in an advanced placement class where students were learning all about college and really celebrating what they're doing. And on the back of the wall, it showed all of the different things and where kids are going after high school when they've been accepted to different places. And then prior to that, I was over at our regional occupation center talking to our students that are becoming mechanics and welders and firefighters and getting all the certifications so that as soon as they graduate, they can apply for a job and have the certifications that meet the standard for the industry. If people don't know that's happening, like they need to know. I'm going to start a platform, something like #DidYouKnow, and then highlighting everything that is so amazing and the people who serve kids in my district about that. So that is number one. Like you'll see that it's going to poke your eye out when you get on my social media. The other thing that I'm really all about is inspiration and leaving people a little better than I found them. And so those are some daily inspirational quotes that I put on every single morning throughout my platforms. I'm on the big four. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on Twitter, just sharing an inspirational quote that is maybe something that someone has shared with me that they're enduring right now in their life, and I'm trying to help them navigate through that, or something that I've experienced and struggled with and wanting to navigate through too. Like today's post was a really good one. Let me see if I can find it for you. But it was truly about this moment in time. And so one thing that I posted today for inspiration and reflection was, the crown is heavy. Don't reach for it if you're not ready to carry it.
Ooh.
That's heavy.
Yes, it is.
Because if you're going to carry the crown, what does that mean? That means that if you're going to take a leadership position and you're going to take that title, okay, but with the title comes actions and support to be able to support those and to advocate for those within your responsibility. So again, the crown is heavy. Don't reach for it if you're not ready to carry it, was what I posted today because of the things that are happening all around me and around this nation. And so inspiration is big. Reflection, inspiration is what I'm all about with social media. And then I would also say health and wellness, mental and physical wellness is another thing I'm all about, because you can't be a leader
Mhm.
without taking care of yourself. And
Mm.
so for me, being mentally well and physically well is really important, because I will not be able to do this job if I don't take care of both physical wellness and mental wellness, because otherwise I won't be able to be my full self when I'm engaging in a meeting or standing in front of a group of leaders, because I'm tired or I'm
Right.
not in a space to be able to lead. And I need others
Right.
in this position to help me. So I'm all about, sister circles and my superintendent sisters from across this nation that we lean on to
Yeah.
help each other. Just before this call, I will be honest with you, I was with a national meeting with some superintendents and aspiring superintendents that are Latino and Latina. And we
Yeah.
were in a space just talking about, what we're going through right now, and how can my leadership help inspire you, and how can your leadership inspire me, because we need each other. It's that sense of belonging and inclusivity when it
Mhm.
comes to anything that we're doing in life. I need that. And I will post about that too, just to shout out to leaders that inspire me to be a better leader. And in turn, I will hopefully be inspiring someone else to want to follow in my footsteps, so that they can then be the next superintendent of this district. And so that's why
Mhm.
social media is so important, because if we don't tell our story,
Right.
someone else will fill in
Right.
the blanks for us. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be the story that you want to be told.
Right. So it's such a wonderful experience to um, get parts of a story and finally put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And for you right now, that's what you're doing. For me, from a glance of just social media, and even from just talking to leaders across this nation, I would like to pick up a little bit more. One more question. We got 2-minute warning. I understand you got some things you have to do. So could you briefly shared about just mentoring? How do you inspire the next Latino and Latina? Did I do that? Was that correct? Latina leaders in education. Like what?
Yeah. So I'll take you to what I do often is I sign up to be a mentor. And
Mm.
so there are groups out there across the nation that ask me, if I'll be part of a mentorship program. And so currently, where I'm mentoring is through California, the California Association of Latino Superintendents and Administrators. I will mentor colleagues who would like to aspire to be a superintendent. On the national level, I mentor for the Association of Superintendents and Administrators, and I mentor 2 cohorts. I mentor aspiring Latino and Latina superintendents, and I also mentor female superintendents, aspiring superintendents. I mentor them. And then in addition to that, through other types of platforms, I just make myself available to do workshops and present at conferences. We have some convenings this next month in San Francisco and other parts of the country. And I try to do my part to share with them that while the title may seem that it's tough, it can be absolutely doable if you have a support structure. And that's where I come in and where others come in. Yes, you may sign up and apply to be this particular, job title, but you're never going to do it alone as long as you build yourself a circle around you to help support you in that. And that's what I try to instill with others that want to aspire to do next level leadership.
Absolutely. So I'm going to move out the way. I call it 2-minute warning. You don't necessarily have to take 2 minutes, but you have the floor, and then I'll take you into the background and I'll close it out. So you have the floor. There you go.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be on here. I will just give a shout out to a little bit of work that I did. I just graduated. And so learning is lifelong. And so I never want anyone to think that regardless of your age, that you stop learning. Every single day, I try to be a better leader. I try to be a better reflector on things that I can do to do something different in a different way based on feedback from people. But I will give a shout out to USC, fight on. I am a proud Trojan of the University of Southern California. I just graduated with my doctorate in May of 2024. I forget, we're in 25 now. And in that journey, my dissertation was all around how do I elevate my Black and Brown brothers and sisters across this nation and others that need to think about leadership and be reflective about that. So my dissertation was around two areas. One was organizational structures when it comes to schools, and how do you design structurally systems to help support that district movement forward, no matter who you serve. And then the other part was around school culture and climate. What are the things that we do to make sure that students are seen, valued, and heard, as well as your team members? And what does that look like when it comes to serving culturally? And those two brought together created an amazing research that can transform any school district to really wanting to serve better. And so my words that I want to share with your listeners is really true to be yourself, do the right thing at the right time, and create systemic systems that will help support the students that you serve and the teams that you serve to be in that trajectory. And then finally, culture is huge. People don't learn or stay in organizations that they don't value or that they don't feel value them. And so when you can build relationships with people and cultivate those relationships, that is what's going to lead you into the future of taking care of all the heavy lifting that comes after. People already know what you're about as a leader. And so with that, relationships is my core. I love meeting people. I love learning about people's future, and then just really recognizing them for who they are, and then carry that into the work that we need to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to put you in the background, but give me 2 or 3 minutes afterwards. Thank you so much for sharing. It's been powerful. Well, all right, guys. This has been great. I need a shout out. Here's a guest that was on last what was it? Thursday? I can't remember. Monday. Okay, so these days are running together. Well, Principal Mo, definitely thank you for stopping in. And she is one that is a go-getter. Thank you for stopping in. You share some powerful pieces. Listen, if you don't get in contact with my guest, you're missing an opportunity out of this world, because I was learning and trying to be an interview at the same time. That's hard. But I want to thank her so much for the opportunity to share in her time. Guys, this is Transforming Lives Podcast. Listen, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and check out some of the previous guests that are on. Guys, this ends our show of 50 educators from 50 states. Thank you so much for joining. We